Okay, moving on to the next tune that we're going to play on this, or learn on this DVD, and it's called Sam's Blues, named after me. I'll play it right through first and then we'll break it down. I'll break it down fairly quickly, but of course the advantage of DVD or video is that you can always stop and go back, and that's a terrific thing from a learning point of view. We're playing in the key of A and we're in a 12-bar sort of format. So the first thing to do is to learn some new little shapes here. Firstly, we start off with the index finger on the 5th fret of the treble E string and our middle finger on the 6th fret of the G or 3rd string. Now we're going to play then with the right fingers on the right hand, which means the index finger and the ring finger, because we're sticking to our rules at this stage. So we've gone back to the rules. So our thumb plays the A string, of course, because we're in the key of A, and we're using a technique here that's sort of more or less what's called dead thumb, where we're just playing on the one bass string instead of alternating like we were in Shallow Creek Blues, because again I'm purposely trying to confuse your thumb because we're trying to get that independence. So we're going thumb, index, ring, index, ring, index, ring on that little shape. Now just out of interest, that little shape there with those two notes is coming out of that A shape there, which is sort of an F-shaped chord. If you've played an F down, and if you have not wandered above the first 3 or 4 frets, you've probably played an F like that. Or even if you've played an F in this sort of simple format like that, if you move that up to the 5th fret, you've now got an A chord. Just another way of playing an A. And all we're playing is that much of that chord. Okay? The next little shape we do is we take our middle finger here, we move it up to the 7th fret, and we put our ring finger on the 7th fret of the treble E string. And we play the bass A and those two fingers, those two strings, the G and the E string, together. Then we slide those two up one more fret and we play them on their own like that, just the two of them. Then we slide them up another fret, so we've now got them on the 9th fret, and we do the same thing that we did down on the 5th. They come back down one fret with the bass E, then down another fret to the 7th, then we're back to our first shape. And we play those three together. Down to the 3rd fret with our index finger. Now I know I did that a little differently when I played the whole thing through, but we'll come to that a bit later. I want you to get used to these shapes. So you've got alright, just something like that. Now we're going to do our next chord in a 12-bar blues progression in the key of A is a D chord. we're going to play out of something that's a substitute for a D7th really. You would have learned your little D7th. What we're going to do is we're going to lift that middle finger, put it across to the 2nd fret of the bass E string. We're going to lift our ring finger and put it where the middle finger was, so the 2nd fret of the G string. Now, correctly, that chord is a D7th add 9 with an F sharp bass. If you saw it written down in a piece of music, it'd say D7 add 9 / F sharp. Just out of interest, anytime you see a chord where there's a slash and then a note written after it, all that means is that the note after the slash is the bass note that's being added to the chord. So usually you play the root note of a chord as its bass note, as its main bass note, its lowest note. Slash chords mean that there's a change of the bass note. So this would be a D7th add 9 / F sharp. All very complicated for what is really just a little three finger chord, which will substitute in most instances for any D7th and gives you a nice low bass note too, even if you were normally doing your finger picking like that. And you'll hear that chord in a lot of the singer-songwriter stuff